the Wi-Fi, unfortunately, is not that great. So, okay. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam. Can you stop, please? Rasulillah. You're acting like a first grader.
I didn't do this. That was them two making the noise.
Yeah.
I can't even do it.
Okay, did everyone write the homework as well as the quiz down?
No.
If you do it again, we're gonna have a serious talk.
That was not me, I swear.
Well, whoever is doing it. Thank you. Stop. Okay. So you have Unit A quiz tomorrow from pages A2 to A27. All right? That'll be 10 questions between true and false, multiple choice. All right? You won't have to write anything. You'll either have to circle in the answer or circle yes or no. All right? So you won't have to write anything. And a test is not just about testing you guys and making it hard. I want to see if you guys are actually digesting the information. We talked a lot about some very important things related to our religion, like Tawheed, like monotheism, atheism. These are really, really important subjects. Also, as we're covering, as you can see, the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are very important topics, and I want to make sure that you guys are actually digesting the information. Okay, so the last name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did everyone write this down in their agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so homework is page 8, the questions on page 827, questions 1 through 5. You do not have to write the question, only the number and the answer. You got me, Umar? Only the number and the answer. Don't write the question, or you're going to make extra work for yourself. You can do the homework tonight, tomorrow, as you wish. The homework is due on Monday, no later than Monday. So for those of you who did not do the homework before, all right, you already have 1 strike. All right? And the second 0 that you get on homework, letter goes home to your parents. All right? And if that happens again for the 3rd time, then a conference will be necessary between myself, you, and your parents. You guys follow me? All right, so for those of you who didn't do the homework the first time, you got to pass. You got to pass. No, I have your book right here. I'll give it to you in a second. Yes. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Never mind. Can the strikes reset every month?
Do the strikes reset every month? No. The strikes reset every trimester. Yeah. Do you guys think I should read? Do you think that's too harsh?
Yes.
So I should make the strikes reset every month?
Yes.
So for the month of October, everybody who got a strike in September, they start from 0?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's
No, wait, no.
No. Listen. That means, no, I'm not doing it every 2 weeks. You're cute, but you don't get that. Sorry. No. Every 2 weeks? Like, who does that? No. I didn't want to do every month until Yusuf advocated for you guys, right? So you guys can thank Yusuf for actually speaking truth to power, right?
What power is there?
I'm the power. Look at me. I'm the captain now. No. So it will reset every month. That means that September's almost done. So for those of you who got a 0 for 1 0 for not doing homework, then that will reset. And the thing about it is also, I will add to that if you do your homework for the entire month and you get no X's or no zeros, then no, I might give you a homework pass for next month. A homework pass. That means that one day I will write you a homework pass. You can use it whenever you want to use it.
Wait, when do
that
you,
means
when
that
do you get it?
you get it at the beginning of the month. So when October starts, whoever did their homework, I gave you so far 2 homework assignments. 2 homework. You will have 3 homework assignments. This will be the second one.
Oh yeah, I did my first.
And then you will get another one before the end of the month, before when we finish the when we finish the unit. All right? So you get 3 homework assignments a month. If those 3 homework assignments are done within the month and you did them all, then, and of course you got 100 on them all, right? Because you come to school for excellence, not to be average. Nobody comes to school to be average. You can stay at home and be average. You come to school to be awesome and to be excellent. All right? You came to school to be a savage.
Yeah.
La ilaha illallah. What school did you go to that you came to school to be a savage?
He's not a savage.
To be a savage?
He's
You know what a savage is?
He's a Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, he's
I just take it that you don't.
He's Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay, so if you get all 300s on all of your homework assignments, at the beginning of next month, I will give you a homework pass.
So far,
And that
I got 100
means,
on this one.
Aisha, if you let me talk, then I can explain to everybody what that means. Unless you want to explain. You want to explain to
Tell
everybody?
me what it means, and then I'll tell you.
No. If you're talking, then obviously you know what it means. Okay, so that means that at the beginning of the month of October, I will write you a free pass for homework. You can use it whenever you want. So let's just say maybe 2 months later, I give homework at a time when you just really don't feel like doing homework. Or let's say you boggle down with homework from other classes.
So it never
You can
expires?
use you can only use it once. But you can use it whenever you want to use
Okay,
it.
like 3 months later.
3 months later, if you decide you want to use your homework pass, 3 months later, you can do it. Huh?
She wasn't here.
What?
The next year.
Next year? Why are you making plans for next year? We might not be here next year.
Brother should be.
All right.
I have a question.
Shoot, quickly. Yes.
Let's see what
Excuse me. I am not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot hear all voices at the same time and understand what you're saying and respond to you. We already talked about that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a samia. He can hear all voices at the same time and then still respond to everybody at the same time. I'm a human being. I can't do that. Go ahead.
So let's say, what if it's September and it's December and I have 3 homework passes? And let's say one day I don't want to do my homework. Can I use it and then the next day I can use it, or I have to wait until the next month?
Very good question.
You can use it whenever you want, he said. Don't.
If he said that if he has 3 homework passes, let's say you accumulated homework passes and you chose not to use it and you held on to it, and then no, don't do that, because if you fall back and you hurt yourself, we have to rush you to the hospital. And he wants to use it. Can he use it back to back to back? Can he use one today and one the next time? You can use it whenever you want to use it. It's your pass. No more questions about the homework pass. Y'all wasting my time. All right. We're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, Al-Hakim. Pay attention. Al-Hakim. Yes, go ahead to the bathroom. Quickly. Are you going to come back? That's the question. You're not going to go home. You're not going to sneak out with your book bag and run home.
Think that?
It's like a 50-minute walk.
Did you
50-minute walk.
do that when you were a kid? Did you do that?
No.
I did.
Okay.
Actually, my mom
Write
did
what's
that.
on the board. Al-Hakim. No, not Al-Hakim. 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 Excuse me. You should be writing, not talking. Al-Hakim means the wise. No, there's a difference between being smart and being wise.
Wise is making the right
Wisdom,
choices.
smart,
Can I read?
come with using your intellect. Wisdom, come with using intuition.
The wise
Yes.
course. It's me to read.
No.
Knowledge makes you smart.
Hey, I would
Experience makes you wise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Making the right choice.
How?
Okay, pay attention. So the last name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we covered was As-Sami'. Umar, what did we say As-Sami' means? Excuse me. The all-hearing. Explain that. What does that mean? That Allah is the all-hearing. Umar, go ahead. Everybody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can hear everybody at once and still respond to everybody. Without being tired, without being exhausted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can respond to every single individual, every jinn, every angel, every human being, every animal, every insect, microscopic and that which is not microscopic, every whale, every fish, every animal, every creature can call on Allah at the same exact time, right? With all the differences in their languages, all of the differences in their requests, and Allah can hear everyone at the same time and respond to everyone at the same time and still have know everything. All right? All right, so today we want to talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, Al-Hakim. Al-Hakim means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wise. Allah is wise. Allah's wisdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the wisest. He has knowledge of all seen and unseen activities in the universe. He is the only one who always makes the correct decisions. Aisha, just leave it. Put it on the back of your chair and turn around and pay attention. And his decisions are always right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Tanzilul al-kitab min Allah al-aziz al-hakim. The revelation of this book is from Allah, the exalted in power, the full of wisdom. Yes? No. Because you wasted my time, and now I'm just now starting my class, and the class will be over in another 20 minutes.
We're supposed to have a quiz? Yeah.
Quiz is tomorrow.
For me, she was like, no, it's not me.
Thank you.
You're like, well, how many for lunch?
How many for lunch?
Starbucks.
How many for lunch?
How many?
You didn't ever.
5?
Huh?
5, 6,
Wait.
1, 2, 3, 4,
No, I'm taking this one.
7. Okay, thank you.
And
I'm
you can
taking.
add me to that as well.
Wait,
Shh. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, excuse me. Allah is Al-Hakim, the wise. And what that means is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes decisions in our lives, and sometimes we don't understand the wisdom behind it. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows things to happen to us in our lives, and only He knows. You are eating in my class again for the second time. Spit it out, and I'll talk to you after the class is over.
I want to put it on the name. I want to put it on the
There is no eating in the classroom. No gum. I don't mind you having your water bottles or whatever, but there is no eating in the classroom, period. I don't eat in the classroom, and you're definitely not going to eat in the classroom. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows certain things to happen to us in our lives for, a wisdom that is greater than we can understand. Allah knows us better than we know ourselves. Allah knows what is best for us better than what we think we know is best for ourselves. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think Allah knows what is best for you better than you know?
Yes.
Right. How? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you. He knows what you need. He knows what you want. He knows what is best for you. All right? Allah says in the Quran that the human being makes dua for things that are bad more often than he makes dua for things that are good. It's a verse in the Quran. How can a person raise their hands and make dua for something that is bad for them? Wouldn't you think that a human being would raise his hands and make dua for something that is good for them? Why do we make dua for things that are actually bad for us? Why? How does that happen? How does somebody make dua for something that is bad for them? Does that mean that somebody raises their hand and they say, oh Allah, let me get hit by a car? Oh Allah, let my hair fall out? Oh Allah, no, they're not. But what does Allah mean when He says, وَيَدْعُ الْإِنسَانُ بِالشَّرِّ دُعَاءَ لَهُ بِالْخَيْرِ? That the human being supplicates for evil just as often as he supplicates for good. What does that mean, Ahmed? No. Sit up in the chair. You guys don't realize if you fall out of these chairs, the bottom of the chair is very slippery. If you fall and hit your head, we have to rush you to the hospital. And then your parents are going to be upset at me in the classroom because it's like, how are you a teacher in the classroom with my son and you let my son, fall and hit his head like that? Or you let my daughter fall and your parents are going to be mad at me. Keep the chairs, all 4 legs of the chairs on the floor. I don't want your parents being angry at me. Go ahead, Ahmed.
You probably think it's good, but Allah knows it's not.
You probably think it's good, but Allah knows that it's not. Give me an example of something that you could ask for that may actually be bad for you. You think it's good for you, but it's actually bad for you. And instead of Allah giving it to you, He doesn't give it to you. Who can give me an example? Give me an example. Khalifa.
Your back hurts.
Your back hurts. Don't pick up the book like that.
Sorry.
Look at the book. It's almost destroyed.
I didn't do this.
I know, but don't pick at it.
Your back hurts, and let's say you want something to hit your back and crack it
Okay.
to make it feel better. Like you say, oh, well, please make me get hit by like a pole or
No.
That's painful.
No. Come on, you guys got to go deeper than that. You're giving me the surface. I want deeper. I want deeper. Go ahead. Give me an example of. Excuse me. Give me an example of somebody making dua for something,
Okay.
and Allah,
so,
because of His wisdom, doesn't give it to you because He knows that it's not good for you.
So, say for example, you're asking Allah for a good job so then you could get money and be able to actually feed your family.
Right.
So he doesn't give it to you because he knows that if he gives you a job and it's a good job, you're going to you're going to get too much wealth, and that's going to distract you from his worship.
Very good. Subhanallah. Keep your hands up. No. Don't. Because I don't want you to say what he said. I want you to say what you're going to say. Yusuf said that perhaps you make dua. You say, oh, Allah, bless me with a job so I can take care of my family. And instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving you the job, He doesn't allow you to get the job. All right? Because Allah knows that if He gives you this particular job, then you're going to go into that job and you're going to make so much money that you're going to forget about worshiping Him. There's many Muslims who get good jobs, who were good Muslims before they got a job. Before they got a particular job, they were good Muslims. They prayed 5 times a day. They fasted the month of Ramadan. They did all of the things. They stayed away from things that were haram. And then they got this particular job, and then guess what? They stopped praying. Why? Because the job keeps you busy all the time, and then you start to say, well, I couldn't pray. So what happens is when you used to pray 5 times a day, now sometimes you're on the job and you're afraid to make dua, you're afraid to make salat in front of people who are not Muslim. So you don't make salat. And then what you do is you get home, and then you got to make all 5 of your salat up when you get home. And then eventually you get tired of doing that. Eventually you get tired of coming home. You got to pray Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. You get tired of doing it. So now when you get home, you only pray 1 salat. Or you pray 2 salats. And then you go to sleep. And then you say, I'm going to make those up tomorrow. And then before you know it, you're so far behind on missing prayers. It's ridiculous. You can't even begin to count how many prayers you've missed, Umar. You can't even count how many prayers that you've missed because you are so behind. And all of it was because of that job. You understand?
Yep.
Okay, so what does Allah do instead of giving you the job? Because He knows that you still need to provide for your family. So does Allah just not give you the job and then you don't have any money and you're starving and you're poor and you don't have anything? Instead of giving you the job, what might Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do, Yusuf?
He'll probably give you a job, but not a full-time job.
Maybe He'll give you a job that's maybe a part-time job, called you and hired you. Or maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow you to tap into your entrepreneurship, right?
What?
Say what?
An entrepreneur.
What?
Your entrepreneurial, savvy skills. All right? Entrepreneur is somebody who works for themselves. That's what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is someone who works for themselves. They have their own business. They don't come to work and punch a clock and got to stay for 8 hours and then go home. They work for themselves. So instead of Allah allowing you to get this job, right, you don't get the job. But then you start to realize, well, I have to make money. I can't get this job. I have to make money. So let me see what I can make. Let me see what I can sell. What am I good at? Okay, maybe you're good at cutting hair. So you said, well, I cut my children's hair. So let me go to my neighbor and let my neighbor know. My neighbor always asks, well, your children's hair looks so nice. Who cuts their hair? And I say, I do. Well, can you cut my child's hair? And then next thing you know, you're cutting all of the neighbors' hair, children's hair on the block. And then before you know it, you have enough money to open your own barbershop. And then you open your own barbershop, and now you work for yourself. You see? So instead of Allah giving you that job, that would have taken you away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give it to you and allowed you to tap into your entrepreneurial skills, right? Everybody has a skill. Everybody in this room has one thing or two things or multiple things that you're good at.
But the first thing you're good at is worshiping Allah.
Your first priority is worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very good.
That's your first
All right,
knowledge.
Aisha, what was you going to say? Give me an example of somebody who makes dua for something, and instead of Allah giving it to you, He knows it's going to hurt you. He knows that it's bad for you. So instead of giving it to you, He doesn't give it to you. Yes.
Say you're a person and you want to have like a child or something, and you ask Allah for the baby or like a child or something, but Allah doesn't give it to you because then you know that you're gonna have the baby and it's gonna be crying, and then you would have to wake up in the middle of the night. You would have to wake up a time before Fajr, do this to the baby, make it go back to sleep. Then you're gonna get too tired. Then you're not gonna wake up for Fajr. Then you're gonna forget about Fajr, and then every single day you're just gonna have to take care of it, and you're just gonna forget about everything else and just take care of the baby.
Okay. So maybe you make dua for children. I'll do one even better. Maybe you make dua for children. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that your body cannot handle carrying a child. As a woman, some women cannot carry children. For whatever reasons. Okay? So you're married as a woman, you make dua, you've been married to your husband for 5 years, for 10 years, all right, and no children. And you're begging Allah, you're crying, you're getting up and you're asking Allah, please give me a child, give me a child. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that if He was to give you this child, maybe you carry the child for 9 months. And then on the delivery table, the baby comes out, but your heart stops and you die. That happened to your aunt? She died like that? Wow. Sorry to hear that. May Allah have mercy on her. She died delivering the baby?
Was the baby alive?
If she dies delivering a baby, she dies as a martyr. She dies the highest level of nobility. Inshallah, she goes straight to
I
Jannah.
thought you said she died as a murderer.
A martyr. M-A-R-T-Y-R. Martyr.
But the baby's still alive.
Martyr is a shaheed.
Yes,
Is did the baby survive?
Yeah.
The baby lived.
Well, who's the baby being cared out of?
Do you know the baby?
Wow.
Take care of the baby.
That's interesting.
I've never met.
So, I want you guys refocus, please. So understand that sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give us things for reasons that are beyond what we can understand. And sometimes Allah allows things to happen to us. When you look at the story of Yusuf, alayhi salam, right? Look at all of the bad things that happened to him, right? His brothers were jealous of him. His brothers threw him in a well. Then he was sold into slavery. And then he ended up at, the Aziz's house. He went to prison. All of that to become what?
King.
The king of Egypt. You understand? Do you think all of the things that he went through in his life, all of those things help him to become a king later on?
Yes.
Absolutely. Everything that you go through in your life is preparing you, Amir.
Experience.
Everything that you go through in your life is preparing you to be a great person. All right? Sometimes, listen to this, guys. Sometimes the greatest people come out of the worst situations. Sometimes the greatest people come out of the worst situations.
Wait, what do you mean?
What do I mean by that?
Like the prophets?
No, I'm talking about regular people. Sometimes the greatest people come out of the worst situations, the worst circumstances. What do I mean by that, Ramisa?
Like maybe when you were a child, you grew up in like a very poor family, but slowly when you start to grow up, you start to get more better, and you have like more money to go with things.
Okay. Well, having more money doesn't necessarily mean that you're successful. That's not what makes you successful, because you have money. Because there's people who have money who commit suicide, who kill themselves, that are they're obviously not satisfied with life. So obviously money does not make you happy. Money doesn't make you happy. Happiness comes from within. But I understand your point. Your point is that sometimes people might grow up in very poor families, right? They grow up with much of nothing. They don't really have much. And then that not having anything, what does it do to a kid when you grow up with nothing? What does that do to you? as a kid?
That makes it too short.
Actually, this movie is called The Pursuit of Happiness.
Very good. It's a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
and Jaden Smith
and his
they
son.
were on a struggle.
Right,
Didn't have
very
any
good.
money or anything, and he was trying to get the job. And
Ooh,
he
and the
had to
stockbroker?
go through all this kind
Listen.
of trouble.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, is
not
that an
something
action
away.
movie?
Yeah.
Listen to
This
him,
is real life.
please.
This is actually
It's not. What do you mean, action movie?
Based
This ain't Transformers. This is real life, man. Wake up.
on a true story.
La ilaha illallah. Are you serious?
It's an
It's just an action movie. Go ahead, say it again. So, The Pursuit of Happiness. Very good example, man. Mashallah. I love the way that you guys can take a concept that we're talking about and connect it to the world that you guys live in. And that's exactly what makes you
My arm is hurting.
practicing Muslims. A practicing Muslim is not somebody who prays 5 times a day, fasts the month of Ramadan, read Quran, but he's detached from the world that he lives in. A practicing Muslim is someone who does all of those things and he engages the world that he lives in. So he just took a cultural reference, a reference from a very popular movie that came out some years ago with Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith, called The Pursuit of Happiness. And this is about a guy who grew up, him and his son, trying to get his son, and they were poor, they didn't have much, and then eventually what happened?
Eventually, at the end of the movie, he got the job, and then a few years later, he became a billionaire.
A few years later, he became a billionaire.
He was in society.
Right?
He as they do the Ferrari, he was like,
He only missed one time.
no, you had to be good at people. No.
So hold on. Say it again, Ahmed.
He saw the guy coming out of a Ferrari, and then he said, I bet you had to go to college for that. And he said, no, you just had to be good with people and
Numbers. Yeah.
You have to be good with people
And numbers.
and numbers. Very good. Very good. So, you guys get the point. You guys get the point. So, when you get a chance, you can take a look at The Pursuit of Happiness. It's a very real, and this is something that people go through every day. So, Hussein, over here, sit up in your chair, take your hood off.
Is it for money?
I don't care. Take it off.
Okay, no.
Oh,
Wait, but that's not even the answer of the question that you were asking.
What was the question?
You were saying that
Excuse
what
me.
would happen to a kid that grew up poor? Like, what was he?
Okay, I'll do another movie. Everyone ever see Slumdog Millionaire?
I think I've seen that. Wait, can I?
How and oh my God, where you guys been?
I think
You
I've seen
didn't
that
seen
one.
Slumdog Millionaire?
I do not have a TV, tablet, computer, or phone, so you can't tell me anything.
Okay,
You can tell them something, but
All
not me.
all right. Slumdog Millionaire was
Can I say
a movie about a young Indian kid,
Oh,
right?
Oh, yeah,
Young
yeah,
Indian kid and his best friend, right? They grew up in the slums
Was one
with
of
pretty
them
much
blind?
nothing. They didn't have
my
anything.
dad was poor when he was growing up.
Right. And this guy, he went on and he was very smart, and he went on to answer like some questions on like the Jeopardy show. They have like a Jeopardy show where they ask the questions, and then he answered all of the questions, and he made all of this money, you know. And he came from nothing. He came from nothing. I mean, poor, the slums of India, nothing.
But what if it was the opposite? What if you were all rich and then you were wealthy and like you had everything you wanted, and then one day your father lost his job, you lost your mother,
That
you
can
had
happen.
you had no money, you
That
had
can
everything,
happen.
you were just a child by yourself living on the street, you couldn't go to school anymore, no one was paying for you, you had no food, you were
Right.
in the trash can.
So let me ask you. Hold on. Based upon what Aisha said, is there any wisdom, Hussein? This is the third and the last time I'm going to tell you.
Get your hood off your head.
Take your hood off of your head
That's what happened.
and pay attention to what we're talking about.
I have an example.
This is important to you, and you should be listening.
I have an example.
No. Aisha already threw something out there. She said, what if a guy has money, has
Or
wealth, or a girl has wealth, has money, everything, and then Allah takes all of that away from them, and they have no money, they have kids can't go to school, they can't have anything. Is there any wisdom in it? It's not just a movie about that. There's actually a prophet who went through that.
Oh yeah.
Does anyone know what prophet this is? He had everything,
Oh shit! I know.
and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took it all away.
Prophet what?
Nope.
Dawood?
Nope.
Prophet Musa? No.
Who?
Prophet
Who? Sulaiman.
I don't know all the prophets. Prophet, I know who it is. Prophet who?
He had everything. His children, his wives, all of his. He had money. He had wealth. He had wealth. He had
Wait,
Prophet
wives?
Yunus.
no,
Close. Nope. Who was it, Ramisa?
Prophet Noor.
Prophet Hood.
His name starts with an A.
Oh.
Adam.
Nope.
No, Adam didn't go
No,
through
you
that.
left his
Prophet Ayub. Prophet Ayub, when you go home tonight, read his story. It's magnificent. SubhanAllah. Prophet Ayub had everything, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took it away
Took it
from
because
him.
he wanted to test him if he was still
There's a
like.
movie
If he
called
wanted to test
River.
him, come up off of the thing.
Sorry.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him by taking everything away from him. Even his wife stood by him, but his children left him. He had no more money, he had nothing. He had this disease. Yes. What is it called?
Down syndrome.
No,
Down
it wasn't chicken pox.
He had Down syndrome.
In Arabic, it's called burs.
Skin disease?
Yes, it was a skin disease. What's
Was
it
it
called?
Down
Skin was
syndrome?
cancer.
He didn't have Down syndrome, dude.
Skin cancer?
It was like a skin cancer. Anyway, the skin starts to peel off,
Oh, that's nasty.
right?
Like this?
And even his wife,
Like that? Like,
one day she came home and she saw how bad his situation. His wife was the only one that stood by him. And then she came home and she saw how bad he was. And so he didn't have any money to pay for a doctor to come and treat him. So what she did was she went out one day. She shaved off all her hair. She had very long hair. She shaved off all her hair and she sold it. And she came home one day and she was bald-headed. And when Prophet Ayub saw that was what happened to his wife, he raised his hands and he just cried out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fix his situation. Subhanallah. He
That's
called
only
out to
time
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because his wife sold her hair. She was bald-headed. You could, at that time, just like today, people sell hair today. You have women who are like from India who have very, very long hair. And they cut their hair and they sell it.
Or people, there's a movie called First They Killed My Father, so there was like this family.
Okay,
and they
hold
were
on.
all-
Let me finish this page. I need to read it real quick to start from. Allah gives knowledge and wisdom. Go ahead, Aisha, quickly.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives knowledge and wisdom to some people. For those who are blessed with wisdom are granted great blessings. Listen to what Allah says.
يؤتي الحكمة من يشاء ومن يؤتي الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب.
He grants wisdom to whomever he wants, and whoever is granted wisdom has indeed won overflowing goodness, but none will remember the guidance except those who have wise minds.
Okay, so the related names to Al-Hakim is Al-Alim, all knowledgeable, Al-Khabir, all aware, and An-Nur, the light. So how do we, as in the spirit of doing the four things that we discussed about the names and attributes of Allah, how do we begin to implement this in our lives? How do we begin to have wisdom? Where does wisdom come from? Where does wisdom come from? No. Nope. It comes from knowledge, number one. Knowledge. And it also comes from experience. When you go out and you experience the world, when you have experiences in your own life, as you get older, you begin to draw from those experiences. So everything that happens in your life is an experience.
You make the right choice.
Whether you make the right choice or bad choice. Even bad choices can become wisdom. Bad choices. The scholars, they have a very famous statement. They said, you can learn, the smart person learns from the mistakes of others, and the wise person or the foolish person learns from his own mistakes. That means that if you want to be foolish, then you're going to keep making mistakes, learning from your own mistakes. But if you want to be smart, you can look at what the mistakes that somebody else made and not do that, right? If you have older brothers and sisters, the benefit of having older brothers and sisters is that they're going to make mistakes, and you're going to see the mistakes that they make, so you can avoid doing the same things.
I don't have any.
All right? And if you are the oldest brother or sister, unfortunately, you are going to make the mistakes, and your younger brothers and sisters are going to look at the mistakes that you make and say, I'm not going to do that.
I am the youngest.
I'm the oldest.
All right? So even the mistakes that you make can become wisdom. All right? Try to learn, try to learn what Allah wants to do, since He knows what is best for you. This way you may become wise. All right? So another way to become wise is to wait and let things happen on their own. Stop trying to make something happen before it is supposed to happen. Everything happens in its own time, Omar. Everything happens in its own time. You cannot make something happen before it is time for it to happen. What does that mean? What do I mean by that? You cannot make something happen before it's time. What does that mean, Amber?
Like, if you want to buy something and you don't have enough money for it, then you have to buy it later.
Very good. She said, if you want to buy something, for example, you want to buy something and you don't have enough money for it, some people will go and steal it because they want it so bad. They'll go in the store and they'll take it and they'll put it in their pocket. They'll steal it because they really, really want it.
They have these scanners in.
All right? Instead of saying, well, you know what? I don't have enough money for it right now, so I'm going to wait until I get enough money and then I'm going to buy it. Let everything happen in its right time. Do not try to make something happen before it's time, because then you'll be punished by it not happening at all. All right? So, you guys have been great. وصلى الله على النبي محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.